The fate of those 17 hostages kidnapped in Haiti still hanging in the balance, as that gang that abducted them is now demanding $1 million for each hostage. Our Marcus Moore is in Port-au-Prince with the latest for us. Hi, Marcus. Okay, we apologize. We apologize for that. Okay, let's, I am told we have the former Prime Minister of Haiti with us, Laurent Lamothe. Laurent, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties here. So let's have a discussion. Clearly, we are up on Haiti. We are up on these 17 missionaries. We still don't know where they are. There are reports they're in a safe house. This gang in Haiti has taken them, has abducted them, now putting out this ransom for $1 million for each missionary. Just your experience, and because this is not the first time that this has happened in Haiti, and we will get to that in just a moment. New reports out that there's been a tremendous increase in these type of abductions by this gang. Can those missionaries, you think, right now, be rescued without that $17 million ransom being paid?
Well, it's a complex situation. It would be very sad and very unfortunate if that ransom was paid, because 17 million in the hands of these gangs would destabilize Haiti for the next year or so. And at the same time, it's crucial that they get those missionaries and everybody else that's been kidnapped safely, because this is a problem that Haitians are facing on a daily basis, and a problem that truly can be solved fairly easily. It's not impossible to get rid of these gangs. They know where they operate. They operate in a specific area of Port-au-Prince, close to Port-au-Prince, about 15-minute drive in a city called Bouquet. This is the area where they function, and it's not the first time that the police has encountered with them. So this is not a situation that's unsolvable by any means.
Well, Mr. Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, Haitian Nonprofit Center for Analysis and Research in Human Rights, they've got a report out that says at least 628 kidnapping incidents so far this year alone. So that's a six-fold jump from last year, we understand. Why is that? Well, what is driving this, and what tools does the government have to stop this?
Well, the first thing is the government has a lack of legitimacy. As you know, President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated, and up till now, it's an unsolved mystery. And the government really that started after him has a significant lack of legitimacy that hampers its ability to direct security forces and direct the people and reassure the people that they can do something. So legitimacy is a huge problem. And secondhand, since 1993, Haiti has had, from 1993 till today, we've had the presence of an international military force for 50% of the time. So for 15 years, Haiti has had the UN international from several militaries around the world be in Haiti. Since 2017, though, that's not the case, because the military demobilized and they left. And they left a police which truly alone cannot do the job. The police alone cannot deal with this type of situation. They need to have either an international military, which definitely would not be recommended right now, or the reinforcement of a Haitian military component force to deal with this type of gangs. Because right now you have two armed forces. You have the police that's demoralized and demobilized, and then you have a situation where you have the gangs. So it's very tragic what's happening now.
So, two questions for you, if you don't mind, on the note of these gangs. Where do they get their support? How do they get their support? The money, the weapons? That's part of my question. And then also these 16 Americans in custody and this one Canadian, the 17 missionaries, the youngest less than 1 year old. Do we know what kind of conditions these hostages are held in? Are they fed? Are they able to sleep? Clearly, these gang members, you know, in order to get this ransom, if indeed they do, these hostages have to be kept alive. They have to be taken care of. Yes?
Yes, but I'm sure they're not in a good state and in good condition, because the conditions where they're being held in the place, usually in the area where they keep them, is tragic. So that situation must be extremely difficult for them. They must be going through a very trying moment. And this is why it's important that the government act quickly and swiftly to free these people from these gangs. And not only the missionaries, but everybody else that's taken into that's kidnapped. So now your question is who's financing the gangs? The gang factor has, in 2014, for example, Haiti was the second safest destination in the Caribbean. And in 2021, it's the most dangerous, not only in the Caribbean, but in the world. So there's been a complete breakdown in law and order in the country. We've seen also a huge problem with the deportation of hardened criminal, drug dealers, people that commit felonies in the States, and they are sent back. Close to 100 per month are being sent back to Haiti. So if you multiply that that's 1,200 per year in 5 years, that's like 6,000 of them. And when they land in Port-au-Prince, because they're from Haitian origins, they're sent back. They don't have any roots. They don't know anyone. And what they do is the only thing they know how to do, which is commit crimes. And they join those gangs and they reinforce the ranks of the gangs. And if that's not taken into account by the government, by the security forces, by the U.S. government, and how to deal with this situation, if the gangs are not, if they're allowing the gang to continue functioning unfettered, the situation is going to worsen. So it's important to get tough on them and quickly.
And Prime Minister Lamothe, the hostages hopefully will be released. And one of the ways, I suppose, of protecting the Haitian people, not just Americans who get kidnapped, but the people who are really on the receiving end of so much of the lawlessness there, is to try to get some accountability. I've been to Haiti a couple of times. We tend to hear in the United States the tough stories, the hurricanes, the earthquakes, the instability. It is a beautiful country, beautiful people. How can they be protected going forward, and others? Is there any system of justice that you think will hold this gang accountable?
Well, the idea here is to strengthen the Haitian police, because after the March 12 attack on another gang, they actually lost 5 officers, and they were beaten to death, and they were burned. So this has created a factor to demoralize the special forces of the police, and the police has been completely absent since then. So they're completely demoralized. So what's needed for the short, medium to long run is to add what's missing. The missing link here is the military component. I mean, Haiti has had a history with the military of human rights abuse and coups and everything else. And that can be corrected with the proper training, with a professional force. But what Haiti needs is what almost every other country in the world has, and that doesn't have the kidnappings, is a military force. Small, efficient, and that can tackle those gangs. Because right now, that particular gang that took the 16 American and 1 Canadian hostage is not the strongest one, but you have some very strong gangs in the country. 60% of the capital is occupied by gangs. So right now, every day they're growing. And as they grow, they make the situation unlivable for Haitians, for everyday Haitians that are trying to go about their lives, trying to get their children to school. And if the situation continues to be unlivable, there is only one choice, unfortunately, for them. And they see that basically risking their lives at sea, traveling to a different country, is their only way out, which will trigger a massive migrant escape from the country. So this can all be prevented by boosting our own security forces with the support of the international community, the US government, the French government, the Canadian government, that have invested a lot in boosting only the police force. But it's clear that the police force alone is not getting the job done.
It is a sad situation, obviously, for the hostages, but especially also for the people of Haiti. And former Prime Minister of Haiti, Laurent Lamothe, we thank you very much for joining with us and offering that insight.
Thank you very much.
It is a lovely country. The people are good people, caught up in this terrible situation for so long. It's just been going on forever.
You know, when you were talking about being there and what a beautiful country it is, I remember after the earthquake and the United States came together, other countries, to raise money for everybody there. I remember Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton talking about their honeymoon there years and years ago, and I was just having visions of what was and what could still be. So, and to have the former Prime Minister gave us tremendous insight today. We haven't had that yet.
Of the challenges, and you got some solutions if only we could get it done.